What's good, Zen? How you doing? Are you better now? That's what's up. Just gonna go over Q&A and then go for an outlook. I don't have too much to do as far as outlook goes, but am I a LARP? Yes, I'm a LARP. Are you a LARP? Yes, I'm a LARP. Am I a quant? Nah, I would never be one of those. Alright, so any questions you guys got? Just go over that. Um, and then let's kind of go do a little bit of a weekly outlook. Do I use Obsidian? Nah, no, I don't. Level edge of balance. All right, I can go over that. Liquidity zones. Here's my settings for NQ. Confirm reversal MVP. So liquidity zone. Hey, honey, you noticed it. Absorption zone, like you could call it. It's like where trap traders are. Dom teach Dom. You want me to teach Dom? Um, confirm reversal on VP. I covered that somewhat. Liquidity zone is not a LVN. Yeah, just another word for that. Um, Delta Dynamics or Order Flow Labs worth it? I mean, what platform are you on? I can give you Order Flow Labs for free. You don't gotta pay. Yeah, Hav's got the great ones, bro. Jav. What do you like? I just like Hav, bro. I don't know. Okay. Alright, I'm just gonna like make a little notepad. Just give me a little second. Hold on. Bro, what the fuck is up with my stream? Can y'all still see my stream? Alright, this shit is bugged. Alright, bro. Like, hello? Alright. I really don't know why shit wouldn't let me do anything. Alright, just give me 1 second, and then I'll. Nah, I had It'll let me again. I just had to leave and rejoin real quick. Alright. I trade NQ over ES. Just it's mostly preference. Volatility wise, I like it a little bit better. I used to trade ES a lot, and I trade overnight a lot. So like I don't know, ES is a little bit too slow. Um, which is fine, but it's mostly preference. I can give you OFL for Seer chart. Yeah. All right. TPO. I'll cover TPO in like my Outlook, and I'll go over that as well. I don't really necessarily use like market profile. Um, to be honest, I'm just gonna kind of do it for you guys, just for a little outlook. I necessarily don't even use it, and I would do more for my outlook, but my Sierra's bugging, so I can't do everything that I want to. Yeah, it's all recorded. Nah, bro, the most profitable flow trader is this guy named JAV, whatever that is. Alright, bro, like that's the millionth time I've heard that VBS. I'll cover this separately and explain why. All right, I'll add any more questions as we go. Just ping me for questions if I don't see it. I'm not teaching Dom. I mean, if you have a question on a specific thing, maybe I'll go over absorption, but we'll see. Do I use single prints? I don't. I said I don't use market profile gang. I can't use. I mean, technically, I guess you could, but I don't use market profile, so I don't use single prints necessarily. And even if I do use market profile, I mean, I'll look at it, but not like crazy. Um, I'll add it for the sake of this. Do I have OnlyFans? Yes. All right, bro. Like, is everything fucked? All right, my shit's bricked. That's great. I'll mark it out. Um, eliminate noise. I'll add that. So you're gonna give off out. Do me. Yeah. I mean, I can kind of go over that, but if you have like specifics on this question, let me know. Yeah. DM me if you want other full apps, and then DM me what software you have. I'm pretty sure somebody did ask if I have OnlyFans. Pre-market pet breakdown gang. I trade 24/7. There's no pre-market. I just pretty much like no as I go. What the fuck? All right, there we go. Pretty much as I go. I don't even remember what specifically. I have to open our DMs. Um, as like kind of go throughout my day, that's kind of like well my whole what you could consider like a pre-market prep is. Like I literally as I go, I change things, I add things. I don't really like just wake up, make out a plan, and then trade it. It's mostly that plan's already done from previous trading because I'm trading a decent amount. Yeah, I can cover this as well. This is recorded, yes, 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 and I'll upload it as well. All right, these are. I'm gonna stop at 10 questions for now, and then if we have anything else or I miss anything, just ping me. 'cause I don't have that much time. All right. So number one, how do you find level on an edge of balance? I'll just open up. Actually, no. I'll just do this. So very simply, and then I'll kind of go into examples. I already have a video on volume profile, but it's literally just imagine, right? So you have, oh, it's kind of shit. All right. So, and then I'll mark it out this as well. All right. So, for example, on this one, right? Just imagine this is kind of like a hill. All right. You're climbing up a hill and then you're walking down the hill or running down the hill or running up the hill, whatever you want to say, right? You get up the hill and then you go down the hill. So this is the peak of the hill, and then you have an edge of a hill. So you could maybe consider like maybe this is a little bit steeper, so like you have like a bit more of an edge, however you want to say. But all it is necessarily is the very edge, of the like of the hill, of the cliff, of whatever you want to call it. Um, so like for example, on this profile, you'd have like first standard deviation in between here, and you'd have second standard deviation, and then you'd have third standard deviation as well. So edges, like the edge of it, usually varies between first and second. First is going to be your value, your high, and value, or your low. Um, but if you actually like pay attention to it, like you could put on a view up on your chart and then look at it this way. The most significant highs and lows are usually going to sit around the second standard deviation, like 2 to 2.5. That's kind of like where the most significant ones are. Uh, one still definitely has a lot. It is really in between value, but I don't have that much time. I don't have all day for this shit. I have to get off this call in 45 minutes. So, um, nah, usually I wouldn't have a problem with it, but I don't have that much time today. Um, like next week, I would gladly go over more. So we kind of sit in between. If you like plot view up on your chart, which I would go over an example if I had time. But I literally just throw a view up on your chart, look at add first standard deviation, 2 and then 2.5. And overall, you'll notice that the most significant, like proficient ones, are gonna sit to 2.5. One still has a lot, but not nearly as significant. Like it has a lot, because it really is a fair value. Um, but a lot of like the reversal trades, if you're focusing on that, then you'll kind of get that. So you get the edge of value. Now when it comes to actually like picking out precision, I also cover that in the value profile video. You kind of necessarily want to watch where like the most highs and lows consist within it, and then match it to that. So for example, right, you get maybe this. Actually, here I'll clear this and then I'll do it this way. All right, so you have like your edge around here, right? So all right, so all right, you mostly are just focusing. This takes a little bit of discretion. But mostly you kind of just focus on like where the most highs and lows consist of. So you can mark out this whole edge. Actually make it a little bit bigger. Like this would kind of be your entire extreme. But you really want to focus on like where the most highs and lows are without filtering out too many and without having too much. So like if you really focus on precision, it would mostly lie like around here. Um, right? Like these the couple swings within it aren't that significant. This is a significant high. This is a semi-significant. This is a significant high. Semi-significant, and then significant. Obviously, this is irrelevant. And for like the lower one, um, that would kind of be like your whole extreme. Now this one's a little bit more tricky. Um, right, you would kind of necessarily sit around here more so. You kind of still factor in this one. You factor in this one. right? Obviously you don't have this one. You don't necessarily have this one, but you still do a little bit. It's more so an estimate. You obviously have this one. Obviously don't have this one. Obviously don't have this one. You still have this one, and then this one you still have as well. So really, it takes a bit of discretion. Kind of like go throughout your levels, mark them out, and then what you want to do is like really collect data on if you marked them out correctly. Like maybe your level got edged, maybe when we went above it a little bit too much or below it a little bit too much. Um, like really focus on where we reacted after as well, and then take note of that, and then look back on where you actually drew it from, and look if you should have drawn it better. Like if there was a better, like more highs in an area, if you maybe drew it incorrectly, like that sort of thing. So just really focus on this. So, like for example, if you go into here, you have like this extreme would kind of sit like around here. And then you have like this entire extreme as well. Right, so those are two very big extremes. Now if you really want to focus on precision, this is kind of where you kind of just use like support and resistance. Um, so like necessarily I'd kind of mark out more so that zone. Um, yeah, support and resistance, or you could bring it a little bit lower just for this edge of value, but obviously we still ran through it a decent amount of times. And then if we factor out this one, the one that I already have marked, this is kind of where I would mark it. You could also mark it a little bit lower if you want a bit of a larger one, like from there to there. Just a tad bit higher on both sides. Right, still kind of that extreme, kind of just a bit of a support level. Let's see. Just find like perfect examples. Like this example. You have like this entire extreme kind of. All right, I drew the wrong fucking thing. That's okay. So you're gonna have this whole extreme, right? But then filter it out and then kind of zoom in on it. And you can kind of see we still have like these highs and lows. Um, Still consisting within it without like filtering out too many and also having too many. Um, I mean, I'm not gonna cover too much because I already have a video on that. I paired the 90-day VP. No, I don't pair any VPs. This is a session volume profile. I don't use like overlapping value or anything like that. But I'm not gonna go too much more into that. Like my video covers it, and then I'll have like a separate video most likely on picking levels. But it really takes discretion and time. So like, if you're doing this, like if you care about precision and you're not actually like testing with them and changing shit, you're retarded. Like it's gonna take you so much longer. Rip, I have 10 questions, and then we can make yours the 11th. But yeah, you really need to be collecting data on like whatever it is. How do you confirm reversal in a VP? Like what do you mean, using a volume profile to actually confirm it? Or just like confirming reversals like with your levels? Okay, confirming it. So that's like if you were to use like a volume footprint or something, or you use like a leg to leg. Like for example, I have a leg to leg volume profile, matched with my delta one. You can kind of look at where we taper value. So as we know, like with extremes or not, well, edges of value, right? The tapering is like where sellers drop off or buyers drop off. So if you add like a leg to leg or like a daily or whatnot, you can kind of visualize that. And if we're starting to taper value, you kind of use that same logic as you get from like a shelf. So you start to see sellers tapering off or buyers tapering off, and then you can that kind of signal a reversal. You can also kind of look at it if we have like a little bit of a cluster of value at the bottom. That kind of represent um, like trap traders after it's confirmed necessarily a bit of offsides value. Mostly it's easier just to use the delta profile, to be honest. Um, but mostly tapering and then watching for like a bit of cluster, like a bit of offsides volume But offsides volume, you can mostly like look at the DOM. Like if you have a histogram on your market orders, obviously I haven't reset it, so these bars are very small. But if you kind of have like one side, I just have red. Like one side it looks like that, and then maybe the other side looks like that. This is your center, right? Obviously, oh, shit, that's ass. That's your center. Like obviously this side has a bit more volume, and then let's say that's a high, right? That's your offsides volume. Like your buyers at a high, that's offsides. So that's like the other way you can use it. No, no, no. If you're using like an actual profile to confirm like an entry, like use it for an execution, you're looking at it that way. But no, no, no. You confirming like a level that way, no, that's irrelevant. Like you don't have to look at that. You can, um, but no, 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 no. I don't look at it that way. Uh, yeah, and see, I don't know what that is. You got to be, I don't know. This is a very family friendly area. But yeah, no, I wouldn't use like volume profile like when you're getting levels. I wouldn't use it that way. Um, Retesting all of those doesn't really give you any confirmation. Like you could have a level completely in a different area that represents a completely different scenario um than what you actually want to trade. I just wouldn't look at it that way at all. Live trade, yeah, dude, I did live trade. I'll live trade tomorrow. I did it in Dom server. Um, all right. Single print still valid if they already got trapped or tapped before. Yes and no. Logic wise, no. Um, not really. Once it's been filled, the single print like the value is there. So once it's tapped the fill point, I really wouldn't use them anymore. But it's also the same way. It's kind of like when you look at like a fair value gap, because that's kind of if you mark out a single print on a chart, necessarily you're gonna get a fair value gap. Right. Do you use a fair value gap after it's been filled? Um, Hav, do you want to answer that for us? Do we use a fair value gap after it's been filled? No, we don't. So there you go. We don't use the single print after it's been filled already. It could be tapped necessarily, but that doesn't mean it's been filled. So maybe if your zone is from here to here, right? We could have done this, right? Maybe that reaction. Now you just clip it, and your zone is now going to be from here to here, whatever is left over of that gap. So now we could still have this proportion, right? If we maybe do this, we don't recognize this area, but we recognize what's down here because this is unfilled still. So maybe we partially filled it, but we don't fill it all. So we don't fully fill the print. And then we could tap it again here, and then that's kind of where you can pay attention to. So yeah, if it's been partially tapped, partially filled, you still use whatever's untapped. But once the single print has fully been filled, it's considered irrelevant. Um, if we tap into the single print, most likely we will fill it. Not always. Um, yes and no. It really depends. I don't like to look at it that way. You're kind of just making assumptions. Obviously, you have to pair that with context in order to hold any value. But if you were to simply just go into a day looking for, okay, we get into this single print and we're gonna fill it. Um, no, not necessarily. Like, right, a fair value gap, and I mean, I don't know. I like to use fair value gaps a lot because most people know what those are. Rather than that, um, like you don't really just assume we're gonna fill a fair value gap. Um, Singular on the TPO like a low volume node. They can overlap. Yeah, it's an imbalance. So obviously an imbalance lacks volume. So yeah, they can absolutely overlap. I mean, if you look at a fair value gap on a higher time frame, they're usually going to be low volume nodes. They're imbalances, and we look to fill that balance. I mean, that's the whole logic. That's why they work, bro. Um. All right. So, what does overnight price action tell you, and how to use it? So I've developed kind of a system that's pretty discretion. Like, it's mostly based on discretion. Um, in a sense, I kind of just use it to visualize, but I also trade overnight, so I kind of know how like it works, and I've kind of just built it. I've kind of gotten over time of trading overnight, and then looking how each day actually presented in RTH, like kind of how participants worked. Um, so I don't know, watching overnight a lot in lifetime kind of helped with that. But you can use overnight inventory. I'm not gonna cover overnight inventory too much. I want to get to other things, but you can definitely find videos if you need like any questions on specifically videos. I can send you some. But overnight inventory is like the main thing from overnight. That people like to use. That mostly can help. That can kind of add value to your art teach session, like at open. But that's like a whole other concept. So, but I would say look into overnight inventory if you care about overnight price action, and also, price action wise, like if we're imbalancing or balancing, that also holds value. If you really understand overnight inventory, that can kind of get into this, but not as well. But like if we're very shitty, like choppy, that can hold value into RTH. If we're imbalancing a lot, that can hold value into RTH, etc. Liquidity zones is like a area where you can re-enter after absorption takes place. Yeah, so it's the product of absorption. And then yeah, so you can use it as like a reoffer or rebid. That's like the whole point of it, right? You expect sellers to get trapped again or buyers to get trapped again. But yeah, mostly like rebid or reoffer zones, places you can take a re-entry. Experience. When you say it's better to start with ES and this to NQ. Yeah, and yes and no. I don't like to tell people that you shouldn't trade NQ Dom. Um, I really don't. ES it's literally just because it's thicker. It's much more valuable. Like if you trade treasuries or something. Right, they're very thick books. That's what a lot of Dom traders overall focus on. Um, so yes, I would overall say if you're really focusing on using the Dom and like actually getting that down, yeah, start with ES. And that doesn't mean like don't be scared of NQ. Like just because it's thin, doesn't mean it's shit. Like it's quick. You just have to kind of get used to it. Like a lot of people will increase their tick size. I personally don't. Just add a histogram. Histograms help a lot. Motowave can do that now. A histogram is like um I don't have fuck because the market's not open. Like these bars on volume profile, that's a histogram. So if you like basically add a volume profile into your market orders, or you're pulling and stacking, it helps you visualize a lot. That helps on NQ NES, or both, but it definitely helps on NQ. It kind of helps a little bit more. Reset that histogram. Yeah, that's market orders. Pulling and stacking is like automatically moving. Um, but overall, like I just don't be afraid of it. That's what I mostly tell people. Like a lot of people think because it's quicker, like harder. It really isn't. But if you really care about the dom, trade a thicker buck. Like that's the whole point of it. Like if you really are single handedly trading that, like if you're gonna single handedly trade the dom, probably go with the S. But if you're gonna use other shit, it's whatever you want. Specific session where you aren't trading or you just trade when you see your model and have time, of course. Yeah, mostly that. Mostly just trading when I have time. In specific session. Really the only thing I take into account when it comes to sessions, um, is is like volatility. Obviously, overnight it's less volatile. There's less volume in comparison to RTH. So I'll kind of adjust to that. Maybe if I overall recognize like, um, no, I answered question five. I said yes overall. Um, I'm not gonna like answer again, but yeah, I said yes. Um, so I really just kind of adjust my risk and understand what kind of market I'm in. It really doesn't like that's really the main focus of trading different sessions. Really adjusting and understanding the environment you're trading in. Obviously, like the participation is a little bit different, sizing is different, so you got to adjust to that. Um, so I wouldn't really like Like that's really like the main focus. You just really have to understand what kind of market you're trading in and adjust to that. But me personally, I don't like only trade RTH or whatever. I don't limit to that. Um, if you have a model that's built off of it, sure, but I don't know. You have to do a lot of testing to actually understand if session holds value. And it depends on what your model is based off of. Like if you're trading their ICT, obviously a lot of people limit to sessions or whatnot. How do you eliminate noise with the footprint? Um, I don't know. It's not necessarily like there isn't too much noise in the footprint. The whole point of the footprint is to eliminate noise itself, kind of. Like the history of it. It was kind of like to visualize it better. I'm not gonna get into that, but it's kind of itself is supposed to. This is 300 volume. um, Kind of eliminate noise. So just don't overcomplicate it. Like I can't really say much in terms of eliminating noise. Just really don't overcomplicate it. Like simplify footprint as much as possible. That's the whole point of the tool. The whole point of the tool is to make candlesticks hold more value, but also keep everything very simple. So you're not sitting here reading the DOM. You know, you're seeing candles after they're printed, and the how they were actually transacted within. So simplify it as much as possible. Don't overcomplicate how you utilize it. Um, but there isn't really necessarily a crazy amount of noise anyways, sitting on the footprint. Obviously like within candles somewhat, but just don't overcomplicate too much. If you add a delta profile, like delta footprints are very simple, very easy to use. I use a bit of NASC and delta, but my main focus is usually going to sit around delta. Why is using volume based candles better in Heikinashi? So volume based is reliant to visualizing price better. Like if you use tick charts as well, tick charts are similar to that logic. Um, right, instead of using a time based chart. And also if you use custom studies, people don't realize it, but custom studies it actually holds value. Um, And then Heikinashi wise, Heikinashi, a lot of people just use it for aesthetics. It's kind of just a more pleasing chart. Um, if you use Heikinashi itself, like put it on TradingView and then put your chart to Heikinashi, you can see the colors and the way everything like works and the way they're calculated is completely different. Obviously, the calculations behind them is um, obviously different. If you want to get into that, you can get into that. Um, But me personally, I also use it for custom studies, like RSI or Delta candles, like RSI bars or Delta candles. You'll notice the difference with smooth candles. Like that's the whole point is to have smooth candles. Um, but yeah. Number two, yeah, number two, I did yes. Um, how do you use pulling and stacking? Very simply. I'll kind of cover the purpose though. Um, so right, a lot of people focus on absorption. Um, are you're kind of just like you just don't think of it the way you're thinking of it. You're thinking of it completely wrong. That's just not how you use a volume profile at all. That's like your main problem. But yeah, as far as how I get levels, that covers that. But that's not how to use like volume profile for like confirmation. That's different. But that's how to use volume profile like for levels and context. In a sense. And then I have a AMT vid, but I have to re-upload it. How Geo is? Yeah, I don't know, dude. I heard he's living life, doing all right. Um, so pulling and stacking. Right. A lot of people look at absorption. And the purpose is, or it's derived from passive participants. Right. So a lot of people really don't care about limit orders. I kind of do. Because the main purpose is if right, if you are kind of, let me just plot it this way. So right, so maybe we move into this level, right, and now the sellers up here are kind of stopping price. Now, we don't know how far this move is actually going to occur, and how strong it is. So the main purpose is obviously maybe we could come back up, right? So now the sellers kind of pushed away and buyers are a little bit more aggressive, but maybe they just reoffer the high and we do it again, right? Maybe they step away, we do it again, right? They did it 3 times. Sellers are overall very strong. Now they have to continue how strong they are after kind of weakening the buyers in a sense. Very simply, they kind of weaken the opposing side, and now they continue that strength. So since they're obviously derived from passive participants, if you actually pay attention to when something like this is occurring and seeing the ask in this example keep stacking, keeping that aggression, keeping that strength, that kind of helps you understand if they're going to continue and break through these lows now. Maybe you see that buyers instantly respond, and sellers begin to step away as we move into it, but maybe you don't. And if we don't, that can kind of signal a breakthrough, and that's kind of where the move will initiate. And that's kind of how you could see if these passive participants are actually going to continue and want to move price actually further than they already have. So mostly using stacking for visualizing if they're actually going to continue the strength that they're representing, and continue that move forward. And then pulling, very simply the complete opposite, watching the opposing market, or the opposing participants kind of show their weaknesses, and showing their lack of strength. That's very simply how I use pulling and stacking. But limit orders, if you do look at it that way, limit orders do matter, especially when you're using it in this sense. Obviously, market orders matter too, but if you really want to use it that way, that's how it matters. All right, let me move up. If I miss any questions, pick me in them again. I'm just gonna look up though. When heading into the day, how do you know what to go? Or I'll answer Rip's question, and then I'll answer yours. I'm also just adding these onto the notepad for the recording. All right, so when price reaches your level on the VP, how do you validate a successful trade from a non-successful? Um, that's really where every executional factor comes down to it. Like doesn't really matter what I use, right? If you're using the DOM, to kind of visualize offsides volume, offside participants, and then going forward with that, if you're looking for like aggression, if you're using the time and sales to actually like visualize initiation, like if we're getting a lot of aggressive buying from it, like from fourth. I look at a few different things as well, like how we move into the level. A lot of people overlook that. Um, how we move into the level actually does matter, in my opinion, right? You don't want to be sitting in a choppy environment and then trade from it, right? You want to already be participating in the market you want to be in. I'm not going to get fully into it, but very simply, how you want to move away to the level is how you kind of want to move into the level. Now, it doesn't need to be perfect, but it does matter. So that's like the first step how I validate it is by recognizing the environment I'm in and if I want to be it. And then it goes from what we do at the level and then how we move away. Obviously, most what matters is how we move into and then what we do at it. Because the first step is obviously if we don't move into how I want us to, like if I'm going to market order, then obviously I'm not going to be looking for a trade. Like that's the first step of validation for me personally. And then it goes forth into focusing on what we do at it, like how we participate at that level. If we create a micro auction, if we instantly reject it, um, those sort of things. Um, question number 11. Oh yeah, that one. Fib tools. I'll cover that quickly. That was literally just how I draw the level. Like I'll show you real quick. Um, so like I have a level from here to here. Um, right? Maybe that's my level. That's how it is. I draw a zone this way instead of using a rectangle. I don't use fib actually like that, but I don't know. It's a little bit easier to actually because you can display the price points on it. So if I'm gonna post my levels, it's a little bit easier to do it this way. just because I don't have to like type it in or hover over it or do anything that way. It's already there for me. So I just use it to do that. I don't actually use Fib for anything really. Um, as far as that goes. When heading into the day, how do you know what to target and where price wants to probably go? Mostly just recognizing the state of market. Um, like if we're imbalanced or balanced. If we're balanced, if we're gonna keep ranging, how do I trade that? If we're imbalanced, what are we looking for? Are we like, can we trade to a previous bit of value? Um, that's significant and actually recent. Otherwise, are we just going to build our own value in or keep imbalancing? I used to mostly focus more so when I used market profile. I used to focus on like price points, like using UFAs, using poor highs and lows. Poor highs and lows are on a market profile. UFAs are on a footprint. But I'd mostly focus on like those. I focus on single prints, like those are points that we want to target. Like we want to finish. Like we want to take out a poor high, we want to take out a poor low. We want to kind of fill a single print, not necessarily always fill it, but we want to tap it. Right, fill the imbalance. Like those are the main things that I used to personally look at. I don't look at it anymore like that. I just don't need to. Like I used to enjoy. Um, but that's like the main things I would look at into it. Probably want to go that. But target wise, when I'm actually in a trade, it's a little different. That's kind of mostly context wise. When I'm in a trade, it's very simply if I'm targeting like VWAP, if I'm targeting a high or low, if I'm targeting a fixed point, if I'm targeting my minimum RR, like it mostly goes to what I'm when I'm in a trade. Also, if I'm trading like to the other edge of the value, if I'm trading a rotation, then that'll be like TP1. If I wanted to go further, then I'll go further. Um, but the difference between context and actually, once I'm in a trade, it's a little bit different. When I'm targeting or when I'm looking for where I want price to go. Do I use Motive Wave? No, I have it. I don't use it. What are RSI bar volume on ES for each candle? You can use like 1500 to 750. It depends on the session you're trading and what you prefer. If you prefer more candles printed, use a lower one. If you prefer less, use a higher one. If the day is more volatile, you can change it to that. If there's more volume in a day, which means candles are getting printed faster, you can change it. It doesn't matter like crazy. Like it's not like, oh, I you can only see a 15-minute fair value gap on a 15-minute chart. Like it's not looking at it like that. It's mostly looking at it, recognizing speed, and then personal preference as well. How do you have dark seer chart? I do, bro. Most of this is customizable. People don't realize everything inside the chart is customizable. The actual header, and then when you like this menu is dark. That's through Windows. You can buy it for like $10. If you want it for free, let me know. I can send it to you. I might upload it in here into this year section. I'll probably do that actually. But you can do that. Like people use a contrast on Windows. I don't. This is the actual theme that like mostly focuses on um, like Sierra chart instead of targeting like everything. Like if you use a contrast, everything on your computer will be changed. But if you just use a theme, it's going to change some of these specific things. Like the header up here, this is also due to it. But everything else you can actually change in Sierra chart. Everything is customizable for the most part. Um, Edges, balancer levels, huh? Yeah, that's my main thing. Everything most of the values are or most of the levels that I use are going to be that. Do you use quant algo or options flow? I have algorithms, yes, but I'm not quantitative. Like I'm not a quant at all. Any person self claiming themselves to be a quant, um, that most likely isn't working at a firm or they're on TikTok and sitting there showing shit about it. Um, they are probably not a quant. Um, Most likely. Do I respond to DMs? Yes. I used to be shitty. I have so many DMs though. It's just when I get to it, I get to it mostly. And I have priorities as well. But if I don't respond in like a day or two, and I have before, most likely my DM is buried. Text it again. Um, So it bumps it up. Like, don't feel like you're annoying me at all. Just bump my DM up. That's the whole point of it. Um, Core convexity or Gex radar? Obviously core convexity, bro. It's better now, but I don't know. Gex radar, all of them are mostly like Claude coded fucking slop. But I don't know. I feel like core convexity holds a little bit more value as a terminal as a whole. If Gex radar were to do more than that, um, then maybe Gex radar would be. But I also don't like who it's ran by. So I don't know. I don't know. Most of these shits are just like little kids creating fucking softwares to sell, but that's cool. But no hate to them. I fuck with people. I don't care about them. Nah, I like Senko. Like Gex Radar. Nah, I don't know. What it started as? I don't know how they are now. I'm pretty sure they're chill. I don't know. I don't really care. It's not my place of business. Um, Gex Radar made by Grieve. Nah, there's a new Gex Radar. What? No, was it actually Gex Radar? What his name was that? I forgot what he named his, but it's different. Real Order Flow Labs. Yes, yes, yes. Is the Real Order Flow Labs. It's not very updated, but yes. And is the only person that I believe to be some level of quant. I mean, I guess I know more quants, more people that are actually into like quantitative finance. Um, I don't know. You can't really like self claim your quant just like that. But N's cool, yeah. Um, he got kicked from Exchange Society. Exchange Society isn't shit, bro. Like, I don't understand why people think that. It's cool now. It used to be shit. But it really doesn't hold on any like it doesn't mean if you're anything you're in it. There's retards in it, and there's people that are actually not retarded and know what they're talking about in it. Like everything's like that. Yeah, I'm there. I wasn't in it for a while. I said no because it literally was just a bunch of retards. Like when Limbo didn't really know what he was doing. But now I'm in it again. I know Dan. Yeah, Dan's chill. Eurus, I don't know who the fuck Eurus is. I don't talk to them like that. I don't really care about that. Can you go over a day where you found those, took a trade? If I had more time, I absolutely would. I just don't have time to right now. Um, you use delta flips? Yes, I do. That's what the bottom of my footprint is for. But yes, I do. I do use delta flips. Absolutely. Next YT vid, I don't know. X4 trader doing business with each other. I mean, somewhat. Looking at macroeconomics, yes. If I don't have time to do my fucking outlook. But yes, I have some stuff that are fundamentals that I was gonna get into. Just like looking at fear and greed index, but I really don't have time for analysis. I'm going to just post it. Like post my weekly analysis for you guys. This is just gonna be a Q&A. Every other week though, if I have time, it'll be a weekly outlook and a Q&A. Otherwise, I'll host it later if people actually want it. But otherwise, I'm just gonna post it in my channel, and then I'll kind of go into some more in-depth explanation than I would just on the call. But yeah, I don't have time to do that. How do you determine a threshold for a delta flip? Gradient wise matters. Like the gradient is why I have that there as well. And also just look at the numbers, like how significant they are. Like if we're going into it very, very strong selling and we immediately respond with a large amount of delta that indicates we're bullish, like that's a very strong delta flip. Um, and vice versa. If we're moving into it with a lot of buying and then we immediately respond with a ton of selling, that's a very strong delta flip. Volume by price on Dom. Yes, I do. I have a delta profile and a volume profile on my Dom. So yes. Simple example of a delta flip. Yeah. Well, I just had one over here, but I want to get like a more significant one. That's not too good. This one's decent. Right. So overall, we kind of move in with a bit of selling. And then these two candles don't print too much, like 1 and 2. But immediately over here, we swip to 102 and 130. So like 3 and 4, right? That's a decent flip. But the selling into it wasn't that strong. But it did hold a little bit of value. Usually you want the selling to be a little bit stronger. Like a delta flip, no matter what, is just delta flipping. But if you're actually like focusing on significance, then you want to actually see some very strong selling into it. I have to go like deeper into the session. Like here's a decent example. Overall, it's kind of slow bidding up. Right. So we just gradually build value higher, but we immediately strong like respond with a strong amount of sellers, and then that's kind of where price sweeps or switches, and then obviously we flip, and then we're bearish from there forth. Use it for an entry trigger. Yes, sometimes, not always, but yes, I do. Rotation do you have set on down for delta? Um, 20. And then my chart is 50. Favorite entry triggers if you have them. I don't really have favorite ones. I don't know. I don't like to like. It really just depends on the probability of the setup. Like if the environment fits and whatnot. Like a different entry trigger can hold different value in different scenarios. So just single handedly only using one and favoring it out. Like it could be applicable in different markets than others. So I don't really have favorite ones. Some work better than some others in certain environments. Like I could have one that works overnight very well just because it's a lower like volatility is a little lower, and then vice versa in like RTH or whatnot. How do you use the DOM and ETH the same way you use it in RTH? Do you have your algos? Yeah, I have algos. Like I just have basic strategies. Um, I have some more advanced ones. I have some that just are like made to collect statistics on what I use. Like for example, the RSI with VWAP. Um, algo that I have posted. Like that one's for free. It's a trading view strategy. It's literally just a trading view strategy. I just use that to collect statistics. Other ones are for fun. Other ones I just use to see probabilities of like passing firms, like see if there's anything that holds any value. Just mostly fucking around. Sometimes like vibe coding them as well. I have deployed some that have gotten payouts. Um, but they are like mostly they are due to variant, like not necessarily like variance, but like the chances in history of actually going from uh, going from like passing and then getting a payout, like the probability of it. Um, how do you align macro with your technical analysis? Overlapping, like it's mostly just like obviously if you're macroeconomics themselves, it depends on how you utilize it. Like some could give you a longer term outlook, like if you're visualizing like if you're the probabilities of a recession, the probabilities of whatever you're looking at. Like obviously if you're looking for a recession, like your probabilities of one like that, or if you're just overall looking for the markets to kind of flip bearish, right? Or if we're getting a bit more fearful, if we're getting a bit more greedy, very simply, if you're using fundamentals of that, like obviously, if you're looking for a recession, obviously you're going to be bearish overall, right? Swing trading can be applicable to that way. If you use like shorter term macroeconomics, obviously that can hold intraday value. Like if you're expecting the day to be a little bit more bullish or bearish. There's also different things if you like if you're looking for it volatility wise, like if you were expecting volatility to be higher or lower, if you're expecting conditions to be better or worse, which is defined by whatever variable you want to consider. That's like the main way you consider it. So whatever your your macro analysis is leading into, you overlap that with your technical analysis and then use them together as one. And it doesn't mean like you don't need to single handedly like okay my macro only looks at this, um, and then my technical only looks at this. So I need to see both of them align in order for everything to line up. No, not that way. I'm just saying overall, like in very general, you want them to be similar. And then whatnot. How to use COT? I don't use COT reports necessarily. Never have. Never. I cover them a little bit, but I don't use them. Personally, I use seasonals, but like, but no, I don't really use COT reports at all. Okay, like all this, I don't use this. Yeah, they are more used for swings, like seasonals as well. Like, so yeah, I don't really use them. But yeah, if you hold like more positional trades, like longer trades, then it can hold a little bit more value. That pretty much covers most questions. Oh, can you skip footprint if you go to a DOM? Yeah, if you don't want to use footprint, you don't have to use footprint. Like you don't have to use them together. You could pick the DOM, you could pick the footprint, pick one tool and use it. It doesn't matter if you're better in one way or the other. It's whatever tool you want to use. They're separate tools, so don't like people like to take them as like, oh, I need to learn the footprint first and then I can move into DOM. No, it's not that way at all. Like you don't need to learn one thing to move into the other. Just pick one or pick both and then learn it and use it. If you maybe learn the footprint and you don't like it, and you want to learn the DOM, maybe you like that, or vice versa. Have I used heat map? Not really. I've used it. I don't like it. I don't care about it. I don't hate on it, but I don't use it now. Currently, I don't use it, and probably don't or won't use it ever again. Um, it's not bad. It's just I don't need it. Stack levels, no. I don't use alignment in my levels. What do you look for with levels within the value area when it comes to the footprint trading and mean reversion? What do you like? What do you mean by that? Elaborate on that question. Like, am I looking executional wise? Like, what am I looking for? What we do at the levels on the footprint? Like, if we get to a level, what am I looking for on the footprint? Or flow platform? Yeah, CR chart. This is CR chart. I have Motive Wave. I make templates for Motive Wave. I make templates for Sierra. I make templates for Quantower. I don't have a Quantower right now. But I use CR chart. It's just the best in my opinion. Somewhat yes. Fixed term is volatility. So yes, it can hold value. How? I'll explain that in my analysis. I don't have time for it, but I will explain that in my analysis. Executional wise, um, most of my levels are based off of edges of value. Pretty much all of them are. Execution wise, so we get into a footprint. All right, so for example, here, kind of. So we bid it once. We bid it once here, and then we immediately responded, right? And then we try to do it again. Overall, each high, right? We are building a bit of offsides value at every high, right? We push a little bit higher, build some value, push a little bit higher, and then up here, right? We have this finished auction, so no UFA, and then we overall have a bit of buying in comparison, and then we immediately respond to sellers. Um, like overall, you kind of want to see some bit of offsides volume and then aggression. Either way, you can also like use it to help visualize how strong a trend is, and then also using like finished auctions as well. Like this zero print up here, that's a finished auction. Has it been recorded? Yes, I'm pretty sure. Yes, yes, it has. Um, SMT. Um, I don't know. A lot of people in this space are gonna hate on it. I think it's biased. It works. People make money out on it. Live accounts. Kraken correlation has been around for a while. Correlating assets have been around for a while. Um, um, like contrary to a lot of people what they believe, it's a very biased opinion. Right? People like could say it's due to variance. Or people could actually make money off of it. Kraken correlation can be though. It's not like there's people that use SMT that make more money than me and anybody else in this call ever will touch. Very simply. It doesn't matter. Even if it's due to variance, if it makes money and what you're paired with, single-handedly, yes, it is due to variance. If you plot out every single SMT on a chart, obviously it's going to work due to variance. But if you're actually utilizing it in a specific model that aligns with context, it's completely different. If you use absorption itself, like what a lot of people think it is, which is it's not. But if you just use it every single point that we have a lot of buyers at a high or a lot of sellers at a low, maybe it works. Sometimes it doesn't. It's due to variance. If you use um, like a lot of things single-handedly stand alone is due to variance, which people don't realize that the statistics you're using to measure something are always going to be standalone. Like actually, if it holds any value. If you're using something standalone, most of the time it's probably not going to hold any value. That's just how a lot of these things work. Like very simply, which a lot of people are very biased. They'll be like, oh, I coded this. It obviously, like, oh, it works sometimes, but it mostly works not most of the time. Well, obviously, because it doesn't align with anything. It has no alignment. So it provides no standalone value, which is different. Like that's a whole different conversation. But I personally believe they can work. They do work. People make money with them. That's what matters. Everybody at the end of the day is here to make money. Like makes no sense. My cortisol riding? Nah, my cortisol never rises, bro. I'm like the chillest person ever. But yeah, I think a lot of people are biased. I will say. But if you actually pair it with other shit, it works. Any edges in the market you think actually exist and is worth exploring on more? Um, am I even a millionaire or I'm broke? I have zero money, $0 in my bank account. Don't believe anything. I don't even have enough money to pay for my next Sierra subscription, so I don't know. And then all my evals are free. Yeah, yeah. So your node chart is literally just auto plotted nodes. What process did you learn? Claude, bro. Claude, ChatGPT, all the big AIs. I'll make my algos. Yeah, nah. Different though. It's just kind of discovering. Yeah, I read that question. Uh, yes and no. Like it depends. Obviously, like Edge, has to be discovered. Like not discovered. Like obviously, you could use an Edge somebody else uses, um, and still hold value. Like alpha decay doesn't just work simply with two people. Like equities, there's a bit more things you can use. Otherwise, like outside of like order flow, outside of like ICT, there's a few things that a lot of people don't use. Um, Honestly, if you are really curious about that, I think researching like on like not very popular strategies or ways of trading, like literally just asking like Claude or ChatGPT, it can give you a list and then you can research further into it. Have I ever looked into equity trading? Of course, yes. Snowball effect after first few payouts. Any that I know of. Yes and no. Not off the top of my head. I forget some of the names. That actually like I would look into, but it really depends. I focus on what I know and shit. But yeah. Opinion on snowball effect after first few payouts. Um, Well, the snowball effect is very real. Mostly for two reasons. One, after like the first one or two payouts, all of your losses should be covered back, typically, and then that builds a ton of confidence, which is what obviously I don't care about. I don't give a shit about psychology, but obviously that builds a lot of confidence and helps with your trading a lot. So once you've covered all those losses and now you've built that confidence, obviously your trading is going to be better. Um, so I think after a few payouts, it definitely rises from there because then you start to scale. You're more confident in your trading, and whatnot. Like you realize it's actually done. You don't have like that self doubt anymore that some people carry. So in terms of that's very very real. Yeah, proof of concept exactly. You realize it's actually working or it can work, and even if it's due to like variance, if you got a couple payouts over a decent amount of time, like maybe you get one payout a month, there's another payout the other month, and then another payout the other month, right? That's three payouts over 3 months. Right, that's decent, and you can literally scale that, and even if it's somewhat due to variance, most likely you still have the proper risk geometry to actually continue doing that. Do you use TPO or split VP? I use split VP, yes. Do I use TPO? Not as much, but yes, I do split VP. How to get into order flow first starting? We'll just start with the basics, bro. Learn auction market theory. I'll have full guides on all that, but focus on auction market theory and then lean to other that. 150 chaos spam copy trades make bank. People do. I mean, it works if you know how to do it. Post my seer attempts? No. I'll send like Overflow labs for free, but I am not sending my seer attempts. I'll have some. I need to post some. I need to make some custom ones that I'll post. I don't collect. I don't collect temps. I literally just keep building off of what I currently have. Um, like I don't make shit. Nah, I'm trading. Uh, yeah. I don't really collect. This is literally the only chart book I really have. I have some others, but I don't know. I'll post some others. Like I have Order Flow Labs. I have a bunch of casino traders. I have a lot. How do you find levels at price rack? So I already covered that in the recording, and I have a volume profile video that covers on how I get levels. All of my levels are coming from edges of value. Is the volume in NQ a lot more intentional? That's a pretty good question, but not at the same time. Yes and no. Like because it's a little bit thinner, I wouldn't say it's more intentional because obviously they're still correlated. Like it's not going to defer whether it's intentional or not. Like if you're like intentional wise, could be like more market orders than whatnot. Um, but I wouldn't really recognize it as as NQ just single handedly being a lot more intentional because it's still correlated no matter what. Like intentions carried by both assets and the 500 and 100 assets, um, whatnot. Yeah, the outlier. That's what I said though. Since it is thinner, that's what I was trying to get to. Since it is thinner, if you have an outlier, it's much more visible. But still, at the end of the day, like an outlier on NQ is proportionally like it doesn't have to be as large as it has to be on ES, and ES is naturally thicker. Um, so obviously that makes a difference. But yeah, like considerably a large outlier will be a bit more visible, but necessarily, um, it depends. Trade all for that reason? No. I don't trade it for that reason. No, because like it proportional wise, if you use that logic, it can still be applicable into ES because it's still considered an outlier. Like an outlier is an outlier no matter what, right? The numbers can be larger, but proportionally, the ratio from the average to the outlier is still going to be the same, whatever you're looking at. So like, it's not going to make much of a difference. Uh, Dom on ES is roll heads. I don't know about that. I mean, yeah, if you trade Dom, like I don't know, treasuries is for people like that. Spotty a taper, yeah, I would say that because its volume's a bit more readable if you single handedly use volume. I would say that, yeah. So yeah, like taper and whatnot in clusters, yeah, it is. I would say that in my personal opinion. I don't know. That's why I like NQ a little bit more when it comes to volume because obviously most of my shit's due to volatility and due to volume. So that's what I focus on. Sierra glitch a lot because motorway is shit. No. If you know how to use it, I think there was a question earlier. How long did it take for me to set up Sierra chart? Not long. Just don't like overcomplicate it. It can take some time. Don't stress it. Um, it's built for developers. If you're retarded, respectfully, probably don't use it. There's a million settings. Functionality wise, it is by far the most like large in terms of functions in comparison to any platform. Like there's so much to it, which takes time to learn. So don't like go in thinking immediately your shit's gonna be perfect. Like it took me time to actually like fully understand getting to it. But if you can't make a template in Manage Motive Wave, respectfully, you're probably not going to be able to make a template in Manage CR Chart. So figure out what you're doing with your platform first. Minimum single delta block. What is it for ES? I don't remember off the top of my head to be honest. Random question about how comes I could get you it later, Ahan. Random question: how come some traders are so private about how much they make? People just don't want the attention that comes with it. People just prefer living a private life. Once you have like that status, you'll kind of I don't know. Some people have different interests than others. Like some people don't like to be flashy. Some people do. Some people like to, just be peaceful, fucking live in the mountains with millions of dollars, and just live a peaceful life like that. Some people like to stay away from the stress. Some people like to stay away from people. People like to live in isolation. Like to have a private life. It's really just preference. Obviously, with money comes a lot of power, and people like money, so it's going to attract a different group of people. Order flow doesn't work. ICT is better. Yes, fully agree, Creo. I usually trade based off of levels, but this month I started using the DOM for every. It's very hard to learn, so I use footprint trust. If you do think that DOM is too hard for you, you could look at footprint, but I wouldn't let that steer you away from using the tool you want to use. If you want to use the DOM, in my personal opinion, the footprint isn't gonna like the footprint doesn't carry direct correlation um into helping you learn the DOM. Like if you understand how orders work, it doesn't matter which one you use. Like in terms of that, like understanding how orders work on the footprint isn't going to differ how you understand orders work on the DOM. They still work the same. It's just different tools. So it's up to you. But I wouldn't let it steer you away from that. If it's hard, everything's hard in life, bro. How much money you made in March? In your demo, in my demo, of course. In March, just that much. I didn't trade much, bro. I got hit by a car. I was out for a while, so I really didn't trade much at all. So it was like nothing. Not enough. I did genuinely get hit by a car though, so I was out for time. So yeah, nah, even if the feds are watching, bro, I literally could not do anything. So I was kind of just chilling, and I'm still disabled, working with one arm. Bad or no? Luckily no. It should have been much worse. I will say that. I was very lucky. I will say. Did you always trade OLF? No, I've been trading for 4 years. More than 4 years. I started with stocks. I traded options. I got to futures. I used ICT, and then I switched to order flow and auction market theory. On foot or bike? Bike. Not like a pedal bike. Um, if you know what a Suron is, you could compare it to like a Suron. Can you trade crypto? I don't trade crypto. Yes, yes. Coglar is it? I don't even know how to pronounce your name. Nigerian president. Yes, yes. Like a Stark? Nah, no, no. I want to get a Stark though. The Stark is the next purchase. I would love to get a Stark. Starks are very fun, but no, I don't have a Stark. It's just a little bit nicer than a Suron. But yeah, like a Stark. It's just like a lower class than a Stark. Why switch from options back to futures? Well, I started with stocks, so I was already on stocks. I went into options, and then it was kind of just like that strategy hopping mindset. Like, I don't know, I had more interest in trading futures, like the strategies that were carried with futures, and also capital wise, I just didn't have the capital to actually fully scale options. Like, it would take a lot of time, and prop firms had the leverage that you don't have if you don't have capital. So like, it was mostly for that reason as well. Only people who have Surons here are just gang members. That is not true at all. Actually, maybe in your area, that could be, but not where I'm from. Like not in the U.S. I don't know. A lot of people have them. Getting a bike is scary. Yeah, it wasn't fun. Um, dizzy. What else? What else? Mostly it. All right. That full other business for something uni. I've been now currently, yeah, trading is like my main thing. I had other endeavors, and I have other endeavors to get into. I'm not in uni. I'm in school. What I don't know what to do. I have other endeavors I want to get to, and I'm just using trading to leverage capital. And then I won't be trading for a while. After a few years, I'm gone. Once I have enough capital to get into the other endeavors I want to do, then I will get into the endeavors I want to do. Also, like I like helping people a lot, so giving away a lot of money. So like I would like to be like a venture capitalist in a way. Like that's one of the endeavors, like helping a lot of small businesses. Like as long as they have the strive, and even if you don't have a good business product, bro, it doesn't matter. You can build a bad product into a good product as long as you have the will to. So if somebody has the will to, that's all I care about. So if I have the power to do that, then I would absolutely do that. So like that's one of the endeavors I'd like to get into. Um, in terms of that. Um, all right, I'm just gonna wrap it up here. Do I have taxes? No. Um, what's the with the shitty non options flow? It's just like, I mean, I've gone into it in depth before. I personally don't like it. It's a little bit like it I've had my opinion changed a little bit. But gamma itself, like I said earlier, like a lot of things don't hold standalone value. Gamma itself doesn't hold any value, like in my opinion. Um, and a lot of people just use it just because they want to hop on the trend of feeling like a quant and thinking gamma or options flow makes them that way. Like it's literally just another trend. Yeah, Gex is absolutely too assumptive. That's my main point. Like it's too assumptive. A lot of the data you're getting fed, like GexBot, that shit's all delayed. It's behind, whatnot. Other Greeks, Vanna, um, and whatnot, like that helps a little bit more in terms of that. If you pair it with other shit, it works. But yeah, that's like where it is. But yeah, too assumptive, and yeah, a lot of the data you're getting fed is ass, and also like you don't know if you're long or short with it, like you don't know how they're actually hedging, so that's also another problem with it. But yeah, if it, in my opinion, it doesn't hold any standalone value. Um, but if you actually pair it with other shit, sure. Call walls and put walls are real. Yeah, it doesn't matter if it's real. It can be real. It's there, right? Absorption is real. Imbalances are real. Uh, High volume nodes and low volume nodes are real, but that doesn't mean like everything provides value. So yeah, FEGs are real. Yeah, exactly. But like, you know, that's the whole thing. Yeah, I can go more into that. All right, I'm gonna wrap it up here though. I'll post my analysis later tonight. Every Sunday won't be like this. If I have more time, obviously I will be doing my outlook alongside this. If you guys have any questions, let me know. Cover that. I'll send and I'll get back to all the DMs and shit later. Since I'm about to go out. Um, but yeah, that pretty much covers everything up. And then I will post this later as well. This will be uploaded, and I will it will be on the channel. And I'll ping you guys as well. Yeah, I'll see you guys all. You guys all have a good day. All right.